We have to make sure that the politicians are held accountable.
Every administration had the ability to put a ban on asbestos.
When it comes to asbestos, it really is about power, money, and politics.
The next speaker is from Turkey. Sinem Delal Kankotan is here to tell us about the asbestos struggle there.
My special thanks to Linda Benson and to the ADAO family. I'm so happy to have the second opportunity to present my country's deep problems at this extraordinary conference. The subject is urban transformation in Turkey. Urban transformation is such a complicated process which has seen the economic, social, and environmental changes in the cities at the same time. It's still unclear of what urban transformation really means. The concept of transition indicates a process of change toward a predetermined and convinced target. The term transformation avoids the inevitability of transition and emphasizes the process of changes. The understanding and depiction of urban transformation should be based on the process in which changes of urban economy, society, and environment take place due to both the internal and external forces. Urban transformation could be reconsidered according to three major categories: heritage conservation, urban regeneration, and redevelopment renewal through the ages. Models for regulating the economy as well as manipulating the process of urban transformation by entrepreneurship-based institutional stakeholders have become a major concern in planning practice. In this period, neoliberal rent-oriented urban transformation focuses on neoliberal restructuring and multi-paradigmatic guidelines and policies for integrated urban regeneration. Understanding urban transformation, it's in Turkey, we can say shortly, it's all about politics. The final legal regulation, Law No. 6306, which is the law on the transformation of areas under the risk of disasters, has opened a new gateway for a fast and organized system of urban transformation in Turkey. According to the central government, Justice and Development Party, the urban transformation project initiated as a result of our national development policy, which doesn't consider the healthy environment and aims to satisfy only the needs of harboring and justifies the house construction in the regions with the high risk of natural disasters like earthquakes. Thought it's justified by the earthquake risk in many parts of Turkey. In actual fact, it affects the authority to make demolition and development decisions about waste expanses of land and runs counter to pre-existing legislation and supervisory bodies. The final law, 6306, also introduced emergency procedures that leave all decisions about demolition and construction activities in the hands of the government and give a supervisory role to a few private construction companies selected for those undertakings. There have been numerous legislative changes affecting urban transformation. The central government has been substantially amending the legislative, regulatory, and consultations forgotten about, and administrative frameworks for the projects. Laws have been changed, controls reduced, and consultations forgotten about. The aim has been to speed up the process of urban transformation in a fashion compatibly with the government's political goals. The Ministry of Environment and Urban Planning has no demolition regulation yet. The draft legislation on the destruction of structures is far away from solving the problems in practice. It contains the risk of falling further back from the current practice, says the Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects. Constructors can demolish the buildings as they want. Those companies have no demolition license. In Istanbul's districts of Beşiktaş, Şişli, Maltepe, Tuzla, Bağcılar, Kadıköy, Ataşehir, only 7 districts, it's obligatory to show an asbestos inventory report before getting a demolition permit from the local municipality. Istanbul has 39 districts. That's a video. So, I just put this video that to show you there is no control over demolishing of asbestos-containing buildings. A sports hall that was just a month ago in Turkey. Buildings are all presenting, all these buildings have some special names. The central government has an allergic to some names in Turkey. For example, AAPC, Kemal Atatürk, like that. All will be demolished. Okay. Environmental impact assessment regulations were amended in 2011, allowing for more exemptions. In addition, the administrative role of municipalities has been redefined so that the real decision-making powers are transferred to the metropolitan municipalities, whose number in Turkey as a whole has recently risen from 16 to 25. There is no systematic monitoring of urban transformation practices and abuses. Few national and international NGOs are allocating time to the subject. The main professional Turkish organizations responsible for upholding technical standards, such as the Chamber of Environmental Engineers or the Chamber of Architects and Turkish Medical Association, have seen that their role and function curtailed. With its mix of neoliberal economics, top-down political decisions, and hurried schedules, the ruling party has imposed its view on a wide array of construction and transformation projects and ended up running projects of local interests from offices in Ankara. I will change. The issue from public health perspective, in developing countries where asbestos is used today in large quantities in construction, asbestos contaminated dust is now accumulating in thousands of communities. More than 90% of the asbestos used worldwide today is used in the manufacture of asbestos cement, sheets and pipes. Use of asbestos in these materials continues despite repeated warnings that the use of asbestos in these products is highly dangerous because of the large numbers of people exposed to the airborne dust and the extreme difficulty to controlling exposures once these materials have been disseminated into communities where people of all ages, including young children, are at the risk of exposure. Yet awareness about the threat it poses is often low, even in high-risk groups such as construction workers. Worldwide, the yearly number of asbestos-related cancer deaths in works is estimated to be 100,000 to 140,000. During the administration of Justice and Development Party, in which precarity became the current order of proletarian work and life, approximately 20 to 50,000 workers lost their lives to work-related murders. That's according to Istanbul Health and Safety Labor Watch. It's not a data from the Social Security Institution, from the governmental organization. And another data, according to the Istanbul Health and Safety Labor Watch, at least 12,000 workers may have died from work-related disease in 2017. Every year, that's the occupational disease data from our Social Security Institution, governmental organization in Turkey. For example, in 2013, only 351 persons could have occupational disease. And this governmental organization says no one died from any occupational disease in Turkey. And there is no asbestos-related disease data in Turkey also. Every year, 1,000 to 12 new occupational diseases are expected for every 1,000 workers. It means that approximately 120,000 to 360,000 new workers suffer from occupational disease every year in Turkey. Precarious, flexible, and irregular working conditions were aggravated and popularized by the state of emergency and statutory decreases. That's the biggest health scandal ever since the founding of the Turkish Republic, Maltepe Coal Gas Factory, Ankara. And this video was showing how this factory was demolished. And it was one of the first industrial structures of the Republican period, the first electricity generation plant in Ankara, working with gas and coke, made by a German company and the architect Werner Issel. It was taken under protection and registered as industrial heritage in 1991. The old gas plant, which caused a great fire and disturbance in uncontrolled destruction due to 350 tons of asbestos used in its construction, is located in a region that can be called the heart of Ankara. You saw this video. As a result of surface measurements, 15 to 40% of the amphibole was detected at certain points, and on machinery, and remains of the factory were carried with open trucks and carry food or hay. Ankara Metropolitan Mayor Melih Gökçek's two photographs were giving the message of "we have taken measures" on the left side. After saying that, a scandal in the description of Health Minister Recep Akdağ, the collapsed building is not a building of carcinogenic material, not asbestos-containing building. Ankara Metropolitan Municipality has given this task to a specialized company. This destruction will take place in a way that will not harm health. The asbestos-containing building has not been demolished so far. It's planned to construct a warehouse, a mall, and a hotel, while a part of the factory is given a high construction permit as for precedents. With the struggle of the main professional Turkish organizations, the Ankara 7th Administrative Court on March 1 ordered a stop to the dismantling process, which it said could cause harm that is impossible or hard to repair. The ruling came after the application from the Ankara Borough of the Union of Chambers of Turkish Engineers and Architects and the Chamber of Chemical Engineers. So, we know that Turkey has a asbestos ban. I think it's a so-called ban, as like in Turkey, in United States. We have some data that shows Turkey is still going on to trade anyway. In Turkey, asbestos usage has not been eliminated. There is an exemption in legal regulations on asbestos-containing products. Asbestos-containing products trade is going on. This table shows cement and cellulose fibers, asbestos cement and cellulose fiber cements that has decreased over the Turkey's export of asbestos cement and cellulose fiber cement has decreased over the 4 years, approximately 3.6 times. On the other side, a similar course of decline in import is not observed, especially in 2013, the import of asbestos can be attributed to the dramatic increase of construction industry in Turkey. Indeed, in 2013, the construction sector in Turkey, while achieving a growth of 7.4%, real growth in the country's economy was 4.2% in the same year. And this table is asbestos products discussed here are those used in the automotive industry, such as brakes, clutches, and components in general pieces. Especially importation of these products groups is high. I'm finishing. In Turkey, urban transformation mirrors a shift towards neoliberal urban policies based on economic strategy making. There is no comprehensive law for the law safety of workers and public health during the demolition of buildings. Urban transformation is not bringing health, as the government party said, but that lack of understanding the practices in other countries, not taking lessons from these practices and focusing on profit instead of forming an urban policy are the reasons for not properly grasping the issue, the urban transformation in Turkey. I don't know how politicians should be, but I'm sure following science shows us the right way. As founder of the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk said, if one day my words are against science, choose science. Thank you.